We begin news with a developing story. Police are currently at the scene where the skeletal remains of an 18-year-old girl is discovered in a shallow grave at the family's home at Butu Road, South Valsayn.
8 of her siblings between the ages of 17 and 25 were also found locked away at the house. Bones belong to Hannah Mathura, believed to have been buried there 7 years ago.
Hi there. My name is Adrian. In a nation where missing people and unexplained disappearances have sadly become all too frequent, the chilling case of Hannah Mathura stands out. In March 2024, the police received a chilling call from a family member residing in a home on Butu Road, nestled within the upscale neighborhood of Valsayn in Trinidad and Tobago. According to this concerned relative, the remains of a woman had been secretly buried in the backyard of the same residence back in 2017. This confirmation came from a nearby resident who stated, "We knew something had happened because we smelt it for days." Upon excavating the backyard, authorities uncovered human skeletal remains consistent with those of an 18-year-old female. Early reports also indicated that between 3 to 9 children were found confined within an apartment on the premises. In time, it was revealed that a teenage girl by the name of Hannah Mathura had been slain and buried in her own backyard, her remains hidden for over 7 years. The post-mortem examination suggested that a firearm was the likely cause of her demise. Strikingly, she had never been reported missing to law enforcement. The trigger for this grim discovery was a fiery dispute between the informant and another occupant of the house, which led to the call to the local police station in St. Joseph. The residence in Valsayn, along with its inhabitants, is no stranger to disappearances and deaths. The property has even been dubbed cursed by some. A harrowing event in 1987 saw James Gerard, a resident of the Valsayn home, survive an ambush during a trip to Wallerfield. His wife and son fell victim to assailants wielding machetes. James himself narrowly escaped death after being strangled with his trousers, stabbed in the neck, and cast into a river. In 2015, an intruder met their end at the family's abode after being propelled through a glass window, succumbing to injuries from the fragmented glass. This incident drew police scrutiny, yet it begs the question if it was a mischance to uncover other hidden transgressions within the home. The identity of the intruder was never disclosed to the public. On January 25, 2022, Hannah Gerard, the 30-year-old model and actress daughter of James Gerard, vanished in Tobago, the sister isle of Trinidad. She was residing in a different section of the Valsayn property at the time. Her body was discovered drowned on a beach near Arnos Vale in Tobago, one day after her disappearance was reported. Unfortunate tragedies. The questions that arise are haunting. Who is responsible for the murder of Hannah Mathura and her burial in the backyard? What led to a 7-year delay in reporting her missing? And how did such a grievous act go unnoticed by neighbors and kin? Let's go further into this case. The unsettling narrative begins with Andrew Mathura, identified as Hannah's father. He is presently a prime suspect in the alleged murder of his daughter and the subsequent concealment of her remains around 2017. Evading the initial inquiry, he sparked a widespread search.
Police are still on the hunt for a suspect in relation to Tuesday's startling discovery.
He was apprehended in a dilapidated residence in El Dorado, Tunapuna, where he appeared jovial and untroubled upon arrest. Concurrently, his spouse was brought in for interrogation. Inquiries into whether Mathura displayed aggression toward law enforcement upon his capture yielded a negative response from a neighbor. Eluding police for over a day, Mathura is said to have twice visited a secret location in Tunapuna and patronized a local grocery for provisions, all while remaining unnoticed by the pursuing officers. Following a period in detention, both of Hannah Mathura's parents were released due to insufficient evidence to warrant charges against them. Reports indicate that Andrew became part of the Gerard family through marriage and subsequently settled on the Valsayn estate owned by them for many years. The estate boasts 4 two-bedroom units and an additional dwelling within the Valsayn compound. His spouse, a religious education instructor, crossed paths with him following his conversion from Hinduism to Catholicism. A family member remarked, "When they got married, They moved into one of those apartments on the property and started having children like crazy. Formerly employed at a retail store, Andrew eventually resigned, leaving the financial upkeep of his family to his in-laws. He is son-in-law to Matura and Gerard, the proprietor of the Ambassador Hotel. This establishment, a 2-star hotel in Port of Spain, offered amenities such as a swimming pool and private balconies. The hotel received a range of reviews during its operation. The hotel appears to have been permanently shut down. Matura and Gerard is the father of James Gerard, who, in turn, is the father of Hannah Gerard. James Gerard, now in declining health, resides at the Butu Road property alongside his nonagenarian father Aldwin. Both men are described as frail and largely bedridden by their family. The Gerard and Matura families cohabited in the residential complex, though not all members were consistently present. The mainstay residents were reported to be Andrew Mathura, his wife, and their numerous offspring, including Hannah Mathura. Andrew Mathura reportedly led an extremely devout life, isolating his family from external influences, as per family accounts. They claim he deemed many commonplace things, including cartoons, as not of God. Family members paint a grim picture of life for Hannah and her siblings. It is ironic that this man was all about God and a religious fanatic, but he made his family's life pure hell. Only God knows the horror they faced. The issue is a man kept his family under his thumb for years. His wife and children were abused, and I think some of them are still devoted to him because he has brainwashed them, a family member stated. Relatives conveyed to the media their unawareness of the domestic happenings and the alleged mistreatment endured by the suspect's wife and children. We had no access. One might assume that, with numerous relatives nearby, someone would have been aware of the situation. We had no access. That man confined his children within that apartment, and it was reported that he physically abused his wife. They were reclusive, and on the few occasions we attempted to offer Christmas gifts to the children, he would refuse them, declaring these items were not of God. They were not allowed to watch television or engage in normal fun activities that children do. A family member recounted, "I remember seeing 5 of them return from school one evening, and they all had their heads bent low, did not say a word, and walked in single file up to the apartment," the family member added. The Gerard family provided financial support for the children and ensured their educational attendance. Additional online remarks by individuals claiming acquaintance with the children appear to affirm the secluded and restricted upbringing described by the relatives. Family members have shared that the children, now young adults aged between 17 and 24, have all been academically successful, with 2 securing scholarships. They could not watch TV. All they had were their books, and they drowned themselves in that. They did not go anywhere, they did not attend family events, but they did go to school, a relative mentioned. The relationship between the man and the Gerard family was strained, leading to a gradual reduction in financial support as the elders aged and resources became scarce. Despite Andrew's strict control, he permitted 2 of his sons to seek employment. Over the years, his behavior escalated and he became more controlling. His wife was also very religious and weird, and that increased, but I think he really brainwashed them all over the years. Little is known about Hannah Mathura. Initial reports hint at a possible disability. This raises questions about her engagement with any governmental bodies and whether any interventions could have averted her tragic end. Hannah Mathura's extreme seclusion meant that even neighbors were unaware of her existence until after her remains were discovered. A nearby resident shared her memories, recalling Hannah as a small, spirited child who occasionally greeted her from her bedroom window. "I know her as a little girl, very pale, very tiny. She has a lot of Asian features," the woman expressed. "I know her for sitting by that window, seeing her getting beaten, cursed, for whatever reason. Then she would sit there and tease you, wave to you, and we stopped seeing Hannah after. It's amazing that she could still be playful and mischievous after getting that licks. To know that she had that strength and to know her little body could take that and survive." The resident, living in proximity to the Matura home for over a decade, was always disturbed by the sounds of quarrels and the punishment of children within. She couldn't recall any gunfire but did remember an unpleasant odor, though its source was uncertain due to a nearby chicken coop. Residing so close has been challenging for her, and the recent events have made the experience even more unsettling. I want to move from here. I hate it. I told my spouse that place is cursed. Too much things are happening there, she lamented. Another witness spoke about the Valsayn situation. What happened here was a tragedy, and it is sad that an innocent child got murdered and the law failed her, she stated. Nothing was done. I live here. I intervened. I moved in here in 2009 during Christmas, and if my math is correct, she was 7 or 8 because they said she was 17 when she disappeared. I would open my window Saturday morning at 5 or 6 in the morning and it was cursing, morning, noon, and night, and we don't know how many children were being beaten there, but we heard them bawling. Despite hearing the screams and calling the police, no action was taken, she claimed. She visited the St. Joseph police station multiple times, but they have no record of such reports. I even used to call the Ambassador Hotel off Long Circular Road to speak to the child's grandmother, and many times she would talk to me and she would say that man, the suspect, is sick, she revealed. Another individual who observed Hannah commented, a man, working nearby for 17 years, occasionally glimpsed Matura from her window. He described her as a reserved child who would hide upon being noticed. Because of where I was working, I could get a view of her from her room. She never had a smile on her face. She was always serious, and sometimes she would go to the window and comb her hair. He expressed skepticism that the discovery would prompt a more communal spirit among residents, citing the private nature of the neighborhood. People here keep to themselves, that's just how it is. In these places, people don't meddle, either because they are busy working or because they stay inside. It's hard to tell when something is wrong or off because of the walls people put up. The enigma of Hannah's life deepens with the absence of any photographs, even days after her body was found. Hannah's grandfather, Butu and Gerard, appeared uninformed about his granddaughter's plight. He expressed a desire for justice despite their estrangement. I didn't know her. Every night I came to see if they will come and talk to me on the balcony, but they never came. I sat on this balcony here and saw them on the other balcony. They treated me like a stranger. It was as if they didn't know that I was their grandfather. He refuted claims of a familial curse despite multiple tragedies, including the loss of another granddaughter, Hannah Gerard, in 2022. There can be no curse because I'm almost 99, so there can't be any curse if I'm still alive. Currently, Hannah Mathura's assailant remains uncharged, with her father as the primary suspect but released from custody. The quest for justice for Hannah, whose life was cruelly snatched away, continues. This case serves as a stark reminder of our collective responsibility to be vigilant and proactive within our communities. Despite reports to the St. Joseph police station by a neighbor, it appears that the system failed to respond in time. If accurate, this reflects poorly on the mechanisms in place for managing crime-related communications. The times we live in are scary, aren't they? With a seemingly endless parade of violent crimes and injustices committed every day, it's hard not to feel fearful about what could happen to you, your family, or friends. But there's no need to worry. No matter what challenges come your way, remember that resilience, community support, and faith can help us navigate even the darkest times. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. God is with you at all times and is your constant source of strength. If you enjoyed what you watched, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you would like to support me, you can donate using the app listed below and in the description.